I've been trading crypto and Bitcoin ever since late 2017. I've been through two disastrous bear markets, and now we're in our third. I'm going to show you exactly what to use to identify when the bottom is here, both over here on TradingView, as well as other resources that are freely available online. Again, everything is going to be free in this video. You're watching Coin Bureau Podcast. My name is Aaron Dish from The Better Traders. We're going to get right into it, but before we do, make sure you hit the subscribe button and let's go. The first thing you have to know about BTC is that as the asset has wildly matured over time from basically nothing all the way up here to $68,000 as of this video, it is also not immune to bear markets. We've seen some pretty nasty drawdowns from May 2011 down here to October 2011, down 94%. So a really nasty bear market over here in November 2013 that fell all the way down 87% to $160. More currently, we saw a drawdown from the top in December 2017 to the drop in December 18, 84, 85% over here, October 2021 to November 2022, down 78%. And here we are with BTC currently down a max of 53% so far. So the first thing you have to do when it comes to the bear market for BTC is it's very clear and very apparent that every single bear market, Bitcoin hasn't fallen down as much. It hasn't seen as much drawdown, down from 94% to the last market, which was only about 77, 78%. But with that said, every single bear market, it hasn't wildly underperformed the previous one. So 94 to 87, so it's off 7%. 87% to 85%, down 2%, 85% to about 78, 77%. So it's about 7 or 8% off. So looking at our current drawdown of only 53%, this is where it starts to feel a little bit unrealistic in terms of this being the ultimate bottom at 60K. Whereas if we just move this down even to 70%, now this is starting to feel a little bit more realistic in terms of every single bear market is being less and less and less. But it's not just the drawdown amount, it's also the duration and how long these bear markets last and when they do. I made videos before talking about my theory, which is the top bottom recovery rally. Not really a theory, but it's just how things work. And this has worked ever since over here in 2011. We had our top year, which was everything in 2011 was our top. Then we had our bottom in in 2012. Then we had a recovery year in 2013, rally year here. And then finally, we have our top year finally in 2014. So from January 2014 is really where this takes shape. We have our top year, then our bottom year, our recovery year, our rally year, and then our top year in 2017, we topped out. Then bottom year, 2018, recovery year, 2019, rally year, 2020, top year, Bitcoin did top out in 2021, although it was not a euphoria-based top, just like in 2025. And then we entered our bottom year. And then we saw a recovery, rally, top, and now we're in our bottom year. And we're literally just getting started. We are currently at the beginning of March as of the filming of this video. So you can understand my hesitation to say, oh yeah, bottom's in, because we saw something very similar to this back over here at the beginning of 2022 in this previous bottom year. We saw BTC languish and kind of push up higher. It fell down real bad. Then it kind of chopped for a while until finally it bottomed out. But even when everyone thought Bitcoin bottomed out right over here, it still fell a lot lower. The important thing, though, to note is that this didn't happen until another 23, 24 weeks into the year. And then finally, Bitcoin bottomed out from the start of 2022, basically here at the very end of the year, 46 weeks in. The important thing to keep in mind is that from 2017's top to 2018's drop, 2021 top to the 2022 drop, it seems to be lasting about 52 to 54 weeks. And given the fact that we have our top over here in October, we should expect Bitcoin to finally bottom out around the week of October the 5th, 2026, which from the current day, again, that means that we are approximately 31 weeks away from Bitcoin officially bottoming out if it holds to the same thing. when Bitcoin finally does bottom out. We're going to look at 3 free indicators that are going to help us understand when the bottom's most likely in. We're actually going to go back over here first. So looking at 2018's price action, we're going to be looking at TBT base to quote currency converter. And this is a very simple indicator that converts the amount of Bitcoin that's being bought and sold into the quote currency, which is the US dollar. This allows us to understand and to recognize and see how much money is actually being bought and sold in terms of dollars, rather than see how much Bitcoin is being bought and sold. Now, one of the clear signs of a capitulating dump is when BTC has a massive price spike to the downside. And that big moment happened way over here in November. If we zoom into this moment, we can see this yellow line, which is showing us the average the average of volume using a 30 SMA. And we can see this moment right here on the 12th of November, we saw massive spikes of volume as the price of Bitcoin plunged from $6,300 down all the way here to $3,200, losing 50%. I want you to pay attention to something really important here, okay? The first drop is not going to be the last drop. When we see a massive spike, even right here, which happened the week of the 19th of November, 2018, and I remember this vividly, even after the price of BTC closed down here at $39.35, it still fell another 20% 3 weeks later. It still stayed in this range for another several months. After Bitcoin finally did this in November, it wasn't until the beginning of April, 19 weeks later, that Bitcoin actually bounced. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The main thing is that you want to be waiting for this big capitulation in terms of volume. Once you see that big capitulating burst of energy in terms of volume after the market is topped out, that will be a great sign that the bottom is near. Now, we have 2 of these back over here in 2022. The first one was in May 2022 because BTC had a flash crash where it lost support and it dumped down 26% in a week, but it snapped back up. We had a huge show of volume, way above the average. Then, a couple weeks later, our final capitulation dump where Bitcoin fell down from 27K down to 17K, 36% in a week. After that happened, we saw Bitcoin move up about 8 bars later, and then it gave everything back and actually went lower with one final capitulation dump because of the FTX bankruptcy and collapse, which crashed the market another 20%. What I'm trying to help you see is that whether it's 2022 or 2018 or 2014, there are going to be multiple drops. There are going to be multiple capitulation dumps. There will be multiple periods of perceived safety. If you look over here, between the 27th of June, basically July, all the way over here to August, we saw a nice 30% increase where BTC wasn't necessarily going up and to the right in a straight line, but there was a recovery that was in the works. But inevitably, the price of BTC crashed. If we go back to 2018, same concept applies. We saw a nice big uptrend, BTC moving up 33% in 2 weeks, and then it just chop-solidated sideways in a terrible range for another 14 weeks. If we go back to 2014, back over here, we saw something even worse. Trust me, this is one of the worst bear markets Bitcoin has ever seen. We never want to see this again because we saw so many liquidation wicks going down lower and lower and lower. But every single time this happened, these big capitulation dumps, they were met with lots and lots of volume. Right here, right here, right there, right there, a lot of volume. Those are good signs of demand. Don't necessarily be afraid of a lot of selling and a lot of volume. It's a good sign of demand. And if we look at our current day, we have seen so far 1 week where we had a lot of volume. That was the week where we saw Bitcoin flash crash down to 60K on Thursday, February 5th. That 1 week's volume was well above the moving average. Last week, with a little bit of price action, it did exceed the moving average, but it's really not that much. The chart that actually works the best for this is Binance, because Binance has the lion's share of volume. So you can see these big shows of volume here at the top in October, and then we see big crashes with lots of volume. All this selling from November 3rd to the week of the 17th was accompanied with a lot of volume. Then finally, one big spike of volume, but that ain't it. That most likely is not going to be it for BTC this time. So what else are we going to be looking for in terms of a bottom? We're going to want to be looking at weekly RSI, ideally. When weekly RSI is massively oversold, which has already happened, back over here in 2022, it went down to 12.63. The previous week, the week of the 23rd, was at 15.48. This is one of the more convincing arguments that BTC might have already bottomed out, which would be extremely weird. Extremely weird given the amount that it's basically no drawdown. If we go back over here to 2018, weekly RSI went to a low of 13.17. If we go to the all-time history index, we're going to see way deeper numbers over and over. We can see initially back here, the week of September the 29th of 2014, Bitcoin is at $300. Weekly RSI at 12.92. It still fell lower. This is honestly what I think is going to be happening next, by the way. We have a little bit of a relief bounce and then one more flush. What we want to see in terms of getting confident about a bottom is to see some sort of an uptrend in terms of weekly volume. Putting in a higher low or higher highs is a great sign that we're very much near a bottom. If we come back over here to 2018, we can see we have our low on the 10th, the week of the 10th, 2018, December. Then we can see a higher low, a pivot low here, the week January the 28th, 2019, and weekly RSI is just moving up and moving up and moving up. That's what we want to see. If we go to 2022, we can see something similar yet again. Super oversold RSI, and it's moving up. Now, it did get interrupted again back over here in November because of the flash crash, or rather the FTX scandal. But we can see the same thing happening. But look, just because we get RSI moving up does not mean the price is going to be moving up to the right forever. It's still moved down. So yes, we might be seeing weekly RSI cross back above 25, which is admittedly quite bullish. But this is only one indicator out of 4, price, volume, and on-balance volume that look bullish. If we look at on-balance volume alone, and we need to go to, perfect. If we look at the all-time history index, you'll see a couple of things that are quite striking. For one, we are right here. Or I guess we're right here. I have to redraw this. This is where we are compared to the 2022 market, okay? We still have more to go. There are a couple of weeks where we did see a little bit of a relief bounce and it fell lower. But in terms of what are we looking for in terms of a bullish reversal, we want to see on-balance volume on the weekly reclaim, as in move above this white moving average. Just because this happens does not mean that we're going up and to the right and everyone's happy again. It's going to take a lot of time. Notice that even if we just zoom out, it's going to work together with everything. But just see for a second, just because it moves above right here doesn't mean that we go up. We still fall down a bit. You have to understand that all 3 of these are great indicators to use and they all complement each other. But you are going to be sorely out of luck if you're just basing your entire thesis off of one indicator. So what are we really looking out for in terms of a bottom this time around? Well, there are 4 things. The first thing is BTC should fall about 70% from 126K. That's the that's the new all-time high according to this high over here in October. That's the first thing that should happen. The second thing that we want to see is we want to see RSI making a new uptrend on the weekly time frame. We want to see volume capitulate with price. And we want to see on-balance volume above the white MA line, the white moving average, which for those that don't know, I always use a 21 SMA for my on-balance volume for every single chart. These are the 4 things that we should be looking out for on the weekly time frame. This isn't going to happen like right now today. If it did, that would be extremely weird and odd. Again, I still expect Bitcoin to fall at least 70% from 126K based off of every single previous bear market. I expect RSI to start making a new uptrend. So just because it's crossing above 25 does not instantly tell me, oh, I'm going to buy everything right now. No. And we also know from 2014, 2018, 2022, even when RSI did that, the price still fell lower. I didn't even write down here that the time of previous bear markets is at least 52 weeks. And we're only, how many weeks in so far? We're currently on week 22. Still have about 30 weeks left. Okay, we want to see volume finally capitulate wildly so above the moving average to show us an overwhelming show of support and interest. We want to see on-balance volume above the white moving average. So if we take this into account from where we are right now, you can understand why I'm not really seeing this as the bottom. BTC has only fallen down 52%. Right now, we're only on week, as I said before, we're only on week 21, 22. RSI is going to be moving up above 25, assuming that Bitcoin is going to push up higher from here. But on-balance volume is a far cry away from going above its moving average. Volume is pretty weak, to be honest. I'm not really seeing the demand there. So you can understand that, yes, I am rooting for Bitcoin, but I'm also not ignoring the charts or the facts. And facts are not the same as feelings, guys. Just because you think that Bitcoin looks bullish on any given day does not mean that all of a sudden it's going to go up higher. There will be rallies on the way, just like we saw in 2018. We saw a lot of mid-cycle rallies, but inevitably Bitcoin closed lower. 2022, same thing. We saw a nice rally from 17K up to 22K, 23K, and then it fell lower. So please hear me out. We will still see rallies. We might even see a rally this week. I don't know. But I can tell you that we still probably have a long time to go and a little bit more lower to go. And once Bitcoin finally capitulates, trust me, I'll be shouting it from the trees. I'll be shouting it from the cityscapes. I'll be telling everybody, this is it, this is it, this is it. But understand that we're probably not there yet. Now, a lot of you have seen gold's mega parabolic rally, and you might be wondering, if you're a gold bug, is it time to rotate into Bitcoin? I mean, I've just given you a lot of good ideas, but in this video, I actually share why you should be watching the PAXG BTC chart. PAXG is Paxos Gold, which is a tokenized version of gold. Then you can actually use PAXG to increase your Bitcoin stack by buying PAXG. But it's getting to I don't want to give away too much. You want to watch the video to learn more. Watch this, and until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.